Alright, and as I'm making my changes, this is as simple as using, a word processor. I don't have to go and learn different systems here. It's as simple as saying, well, you want some columns? Yes, I'd like some columns. Let's actually go and grabbing 3 columns, and then now set there. I can go and add text to those. If I want some images, I can simply go and grab some images, and again, drag them onto the page, and go and have them sized, etc. If I'd like to rotate an image, come in here, click on Edit, and do all these things like rotate an image, crop it. So let's actually crop it down so we're focused on the girl in that case there. Alright, so that's kind of simple edits and making changes there. But again, think about the intent of the user. We talked about social this morning, and we talked about how to engage people. So there's a few things we can do. We can take the same content that we've used here for our website or for our mobile site and actually publish it out to things like Facebook. So I can quite easily come into a Facebook page, and you can see I've already started this now. This is my Facebook environment. If I make any changes here, using the same tool, so I can hover, I can select images, etc. I hit publish, Facebook is updated for me. So what does this mean now? I've got one environment that if I make a change once, it can actually change multiple instances. What do I mean by that? Well, let's go and change this piece of text here on the initial site. So we'll just go up to company. And we've got some text here. I'll zoom in, you can actually see that. It says here 545 BC. That's a lot of hogwash. It was actually 645 BC. I was there, I saw it. So let's actually change that to 645 BC. If we come back into our Facebook page, hit refresh, that's now been updated. If we go to the mobile site now, and come back up to the front page, you can see that that's now 645 BC as well. So what that means is two things. One, you're very agile as far as getting content done, saving time, but your message is the same on every single platform. So there's no confusion. There's no calls to the call center saying, look, I'm reading this here, but I looked on Facebook and it says something different. Can you clarify which one's correct? All that goes away. Doesn't mean the one channel. Alrighty, so the other thing is, that's Facebook, that's great. But sometimes you want to actually bring the conversation back into your environment. And that could be as simple as this. I can go into a page, any page, so let's choose that company page. Maybe if you've launched a new policy, maybe you want to get some feedback from someone. Simple as this, just go and grab some social components. So let's grab collaboration, and let's add comments, and let's actually just drag that straight into there. And now we can go ahead and add some comments straight away there. We can put moderation on them, so it has to be approved, and we can do things like profanity filters and all those type of things to make sure that bad people don't do bad things. So that's a quick look at social. The last thing, just on just generic content in general. Can you see this little advertisement here on the side? It's saying, go ahead and download our mobile application. Well, we want to actually use this to actually populate some information that's targeted to the user. And so we can actually use their profile data, their browsing history, to actually target content to someone. So I've just brought up this little cloud here, and what it's doing is, as I'm browsing around a site, it's collecting the tags. So it's keeping track of what information I've been looking at. And if you're thinking about privacy, this is all on the client side. You're not storing any profile data about a user, so we don't have to worry about privacy laws. If I want to go into private mode on Firefox or Google or whatever, then I'm anonymous and this isn't tracked. So that's nice, is if I want to actually be served up targeted content here, we're starting to look at that. So we can do things like track people's browsing history. We can get geolocation. We can, if they're authenticated, we can actually pull in their data as well. So if I actually load up a persona here, so let's just say that I'm Charles here, we actually pull in Charles' information into that profile, and we can use that to segment him and actually put him into a group and actually serve personalized content. So in this case, we know that Charles is a male, we put him in the male group, and we did one very simple thing here. We got rid of that phone, because we already knew we had the mobile app, and we replaced it with a, Scott recommends, some extra information to take into another page. So anytime you know something about a user, and you've got generic content, think about the way you can actually start to take advantage of what you already know about them. So it could be that they've browsed on previous visits for a particular service or benefit. They could be looking at something. It could be that they've filled out a form and you know a little bit more about them. It could be that you're using geolocation data because they happen to be on a mobile device. You can actually use that to streamline the content so they get to the end result faster and you offer a better service. Okay, so that's a little bit on content authoring there. So the last thing I want to talk about is this concept of mobile apps or mobile web. So how many of you have a mobile website today? Okay, a couple of hands. What about a mobile app? A few more hands. Okay. What we often find is people say, well, I know I need to do something, but some people say, I need to build an app for an iPhone. Some people are saying, well, no, it should be open, so anyone can access it, so you should build a mobile website. And really, the real answer of what Adobe says is it really depends. And it depends what the user is trying to do. So let me walk you through a quick customer journey here. It really depends if they're browsing, it's like a ad hoc, I'm just looking for some information, not likely to come back type of experience. Or I'm a regular user where I need something more like an application. So it could be something like this where I could be browsing a desktop site and I'm looking, what benefits am I eligible for, what can I look at, so I'm just looking for information. It could be on a mobile site, I'm just looking for the nearest office or the nearest location I could go and actually have a conversation with someone. So they're things that I may look at, but I probably don't want to go and download an application for. Whereas, if I've applied for something and I'm going to be engaged on a regular basis, then maybe I would want an app that I can just quickly get to and launch. And then finally, we can have full applications where maybe someone I'm interacting with says, well, let me check the status for you, and they actually need that information as well. And what we're seeing from a trend perspective is more and more people are bringing these type of devices into the office. And even from an internal employee perspective, they're saying, well, I don't want to use these clunky things anymore. You make me carry it home to pain. So I've got this. Why can't I just use my own tablet? So therefore, how do we get our applications, our enterprise applications on here as well? Of course, the challenge today from a development perspective is that these things are hard to author. Because if you make an iPhone app, it doesn't work on an Android device. So you have to create another one. And then when you make the Android version, someone says to you, well, what about my BlackBerry or my... there's no Windows Phone users in here. But you get the point, is that there's all these devices coming out. How do I target them? And so what Adobe's been working on is a number of different options to actually get content that you build once, either in using our Flex technology or HTML5, taking that content and actually pushing it out to multiple devices. All right, so let me give you a quick example in the last demonstration here. So one is, first of all, Dreamweaver actually supports HTML5 today, where I can actually use the latest things like jQuery and things like that. If you want to impress your techie guys when you get back to the office, just mention jQuery and they'll go, oh, that's cool, right? So jQuery allows me to build mobile content up very quickly, where I can actually go ahead and navigate. And this was literally a file, new site, and actually create this content, and I just fill in the blanks there. But what I can do right here is actually go into Site, Mobile Applications, and say Build, and I've got it configured here for Android. I'll actually go and build an Android website for you, an actual application. If I had my iOS credentials set up, there would be another menu for iPhone there. There would be another menu for BlackBerry. There would be another menu for Windows Phone. So you don't really have to care about which target device you're after. You just build it, and it's available for all of them. Okay, so that's definitely an advantage as far as pushing content out there. And all of this is actually based on open source technology that Adobe's been working with in the community. So things like PhoneGap that we're contributing to. So let me give you a quick look at some sample applications. One of them, first of all, is one of my favourite apps that I use all the time. You'll see why in just a second. Where did I put my phone? Yeah. Let me show you the mobile web version first of all. So this is for all the beer drinkers in the room. Because beer is becoming like wine, this is called Untapped. And you can actually go and, every time you drink a beer and you like it, you can actually go and find the beer and check into it. Okay, kind of useless, but kind of cool at the same time, so you can remember what you're using. So you can see I'm actually in the browser here. I can actually go and look at different things. But I use this all the time. I don't want to necessarily have to go and browse to the site and navigate, type in the URL. So if I scroll over here, you can see I've got a little icon that says Untapped. If I tap on that guy, I get a full application. And this is actually built using that same HTML code that I've built for mobile, but now I can actually work on this. Now the good thing is, it actually works offline, right? So I can use it like a true mobile app. It actually uses the GPS, so it knows where I am if I want to check in and say, I'm enjoying a beer in Canberra. So all of those type of things, I get the full capability of the phone, but it's using HTML technology. So, of course, getting back to that content perspective, how do I manage that content? So we can come back into our content authoring environment here, and the last thing I want to show is that we have a mobile site, and this particular mobile site is an application. And so I'll load that up here, and we'll just load the same app up on the desktop here, and while that's loading up, we'll load the same application up on the iPad here. So there it is. So again, this particular application is made for multi-device. So you can see as I change the layout, for instance, it will actually resize the application. And here it is on the iPad. Again, the different locations. I can pinch and zoom some of the data in this case, and look at different things. So I've got this multi-app, and there's an alert screen here with different things. So if this was on a phone, I can actually press the Call Financial Advisor, and it'll actually start calling. So the last thing I want to show you here is that I can actually go and update this. So I can go in here and say, instead of Adobe posting strong results, maybe I want to update that just in my content management system. I can hop out of preview mode and make that change. So let's just say, awesome results. Tab out of that, and then, let's just hit activate, so it's actually live. And then the next time the user actually opens the application, so let's just open that one more time. Come in here. You can see we've actually got awesome results there. So you can actually use the same content management, have content authors update information in apps without getting, writing up a spec, giving it to a developer. The developer goes and compiles it, submits it to the iPhone store. You wait about 3 weeks for Apple to decide if it's good or not, and then the user gets a notification, and then you wait another 3 weeks for them to say, oh yeah, I might actually update my phone, right? Instantaneous update, so a very nice way of working with content. So with all that being said, there's lots of things to do. A few recommendations. One is really think about more than just a website. It's not good enough to just say tick in the box. We can actually view our website on a mobile environment. It has to be actually thinking of the context of the user on that environment. You've got tools at your fingertips to actually tell you what information to put on that device. So go and don't do a user survey of 500 people. Actually look at every single visitor to your site and find out what they're looking at based on analytical data. If you don't have that data, there's tools to do that. And then, something that I didn't show too much here today, but use really graphical rich elements to make people explore your content. Because as much as I love reading books on here when I'm waiting for a doctor, I don't typically like to just read for the hell of it. So make it more graphical, make it more engaging, and you'll look more take up of your information. So that's it from me. Thanks everyone.